What's going on, everybody? BojaForce here. I know that Luigi's Mansion 3 is running a little late. I've been a little under the weather, so I do apologize for that. And it's going to be a little bit later because I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened over Pokemon Day weekend. There was a lot of things going on over the weekend in celebration of Pokemon Day. And the two big things were the Max Raid battles that were available in Pokemon Sword and Shield, mainly the Mewtwo raids. And then there was the 2020 February International Challenge. Now, I've already done a video about the Mewtwo raids here on the channel, so you'll be able to see that video here. But in that video, spoiler alert, I didn't beat any Mewtwo's. I was doing it with randoms online, and it was an extremely hard raid. So if you want to see just how hard I'm talking about, go ahead and watch that video. But I did also say in that video that if I ever completed the raid, I'd share the success with you guys. So here you go. Here are 3, not 1, but 3 completions of the Mewtwo raid. Check it out. So that was a carefully coordinated team with a group of friends of mine. Thank you very much to Taylor McAllister, Nick Gray, and Nathan Scott for making those victories happen. Thank you guys again so much for the raids. It was super fun. I do have one criticism about the raids though, and that's that while I do enjoy how hard they were really difficult, and there was a certain thrill in completing them. The rewards weren't really worth the effort. We ended up with after the 3 raids, we ended up with about 60 large candies, 30 extra large candies, 3 bottle caps, an ability capsule, and a few psychic TMs. And I think some berries and some items that you can sell for cash. For the amount of resources that my friends sunk into their Pokemon to try to get them where they needed to be for this raid, 1 raid alone definitely wasn't worth it. 2 might have been worth it. It took 3 Mewtwo raids to make it worth their time. While this was really fun, I think there needs to be some balancing of the rewards if they choose to do this again going forward. Let's also not forget though that during this special raids, there was Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle raids, each of which had the ability to reward hidden ability Generation 1 starters, as well as Toxic Orb if you're doing any Bulbasaur or Ivysaur raids, Flame Orb if you're doing any Charmander or Charmeleon raids, and Life Orb if you're doing any Squirtle or Wartortle raids. Now, I only found 1 Bulbasaur raid and 1 Charmeleon raid. The Charmeleon raid gave me a Flame Orb, which is why my Rotom had a Flame Orb for the International Challenge. I didn't get any Toxic Orbs, I did get 1 Flame Orb, so if I need Toxic Orbs in the future, it's back to the champion tournament for me, I guess. Again, those were really fun, and I can see them doing something like that again in the future when we do get Gigantamax, Venusaur, and Blastoise with the first of the DLC expansions. So next up was the 2020 February International Challenge, and that was an interesting tournament. I did live stream it for a few hours on Friday, so if you guys saw that, that's great. But I am going to kind of go over what happened with that for me and kind of my takeaway from that event. I think to do that, we first need to go over the team. So I'm going to put the team up on screen here, and we have Tyranitar, Excadrill, Arcanine, Gastrodon, Togekiss, and Rotom. The Rotom was the tech here, but the other 5 were kind of based off of what I saw of the International Challenge in Oceania, where Excadrill and Tyranitar are a big sweeping combo, and Tyranitar with weakness policy is able to do a lot of damage. Though I found that in this tournament, people were able to play around Tyranitar a lot more. I think probably because this was such a tried and true strategy, people have started learning how to counter it. The Arcanine, when I did use it and use it effectively, it was a very clutch partner on the team. Its primary use is to spread debuffs through the form of Intimidate and Snarl, as well as the burn status condition. I did Dynamax him once or twice in the tournament, and he did do exceptionally well when I did use him effectively. There were other times where he just kind of went out there and died, and that was on me. That wasn't Arcanine, that was on me. That was my lack of skill as a player. Again, I'm very new to this whole competitive Pokemon thing. So Gastrodon was there because those first 3 Pokemon that I just mentioned are all weak to water. I think Excadrill is weak to water. I know Tyranitar and Arcanine are. So having a Pokemon with Storm Drain that could divert water attacks to itself, protect my water weak Pokemon, and be able to take that weakness and turn it to a strength was very important. Generally only brought Gastrodon if I saw the need for that water protection, but it was still great to have on the team. Togekiss was a nice bulky Pokemon. I did use Follow Me and Life Dew to great effect several times. But I think I might have missed out on the opportunity to really capitalize on Max Airstream to speed my Pokemon up. I did do it once or twice, but again, this whole thing is a learning experience for me. And that was really one of my biggest takeaways, was really how much I learned playing in this tournament. There were a lot of Pokemon that I had not seen before or hadn't seen a whole lot of, and it was a great opportunity to learn what this Pokemon were capable of, what they were strong at, what they were weak at, and trying to figure out a way how this team could work around it. And speaking of this team and working around things, we got the Rotom, which in a previous video I said was a tech for Corsola that should also be able to handle Tyranitar and Excadrill. Now in practice, I did encounter a couple Corsolas in the tournament, and the Rotom did very well. It did what it was supposed to do for the Corsola, which was get rid of its Eviolite and make it more vulnerable so that my other Pokemon can step in and do what they need to do to knock it out. I think both times that I fought a Corsola, I won that match thanks to Rotom. Now, when it came to squaring up with Excadrill and Tyranitar, that had mixed results. There were times that I would trick the Flame Orb onto the Excadrill or the Tyranitar, and they would get burned only for the Rotom to get focused down because they recognize that Rotom Leaf Storm, or I think it's Leaf Storm is the name of the attack, is a very damaging move against the likes of Tyranitar, so they made sure that Rotom was dealt with. In the end, I started out winning really strong, and then I kind of hit a certain plateau at around 1570, and I started losing a lot, and I started fighting trainers that were way better than I was, way more skilled, and they were using Pokemon that I didn't know how to read. In the end, I ended up just a little bit above where I started. I played I think a total of about 35 matches at the end of it. And if I sound a little froggy, please do bear with me. I do apologize. Like I said, I haven't been feeling well, so just bear with me, please. I did, throughout the rest of the weekend, do a little dance of win and lose, win and lose, win and lose. Only once did I dip below 1500. But I generally stayed above 1500 the whole time. I'm probably not going to do a tournament like this ever again, though, and that's because of disconnects. It seemed like the longer that the event went on, the more I encountered people who, rather than accepting the loss, rather than accepting that I beat them, disconnected their game. And honestly, I don't know if that had any impact on my ranking whatsoever. I don't know if that still counted as a win for me and a loss for them. I don't know if I earned less or more points because of the disconnect. But in the end, it was just a very unpleasant experience. And I think that I would rather not have to deal with that in the future. And I think there is a certain benefit to official tournaments where you're playing against a specific person right in front of you and it's a best 2 out of 3 situation. So in situations like I don't know the Pokemon and I don't know how to respond to it, I can potentially lose a game, learn from it, and then develop a counter strategy and see if it works. And that's I kind of like the idea of that, because in this environment, when I would lose a match, I just had to theory craft, and maybe I would encounter a similar team down the line. It wouldn't be the same person. So it may not function the same way, it may not be EV trained the same way, it may not be the exact same makeup, the moves may be different. So while this was a great learning experience and I'm thankful for having participated, and I got a really cool new item for my trainer for participating, I don't think I'll be doing another one of these again. Or if I do, it's going to be a super casual participation, because I think that dealing with players in person where I won't have to deal with the spontaneous disconnects will be a lot more enjoyable for me. So that's kind of it for what happened over Pokemon Day weekend. The raids were really fun, but probably overpowered and not rewarding enough for what the ordeal was. And the tournament was a great learning experience, but I think that one of the things I learned was that there are certain drawbacks to playing a tournament in that fashion. So that's all I got to say on the subject. There will be Luigi's Mansion coming up. As soon as this video goes up, I will start recording the next episode of Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm probably still going to be a little under the weather, but just bear with me. It is coming. In the meantime, that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you like my videos. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this one in particular. And the bell icon to stay tuned for future videos. And until next time, guys, I'm Pojiforce, and you all take care. Catch you later.